Welcome back to Ron's Radio Corner. And what I have on camera right now is the M-Amazup NS-8100BT. This radio seems to sort of exist out there, like a lot of these radios, under a few different, I guess manufacturers, right? They're sold under different names, but it pretty much seems like it's the same radio. There's a radio that I've seen for a while, branded as On-Chair, which is the same radio. And what had me interested about this radio was that it reminds me so much of the Prunus J-160 that I have, and that I thought it was similar, but maybe with some improvements. And so I had looked at the On-Chair for a long time, and when I had the opportunity to get the M-Amazup, I decided to give it a go. I really wanted to kind of review this radio without grabbing the Prunus J-160, but I really don't think I can. So, the two radios are very, very similar. Let me see if I can play around here and get them both in the shot. So, these are almost the same size. They're certainly like the same form factor, right? Going for that I don't know, 1930s, 1940s sort of look. The Prunus in red sort of has that Bakelite sort of feel to it. The M-Amazup in wood, kind of harkens back to particularly those 30s, early 40s wooden radios. As much as I thought these were going to be very similar, very identical performers, that's not what I found. So, let me take this guy away for a minute. I'll move this guy back over and give you a quick tour of the M-Amazup NS-8100BT. So, basic volume knob here. I got to be a little careful because I don't want to run into any problems. I think I might be. And Maverick Station. A bus would show up. I might be on AM. Which would make sense because techno nationalism, which would make sense because I had been using this with my AM transmitter to listen to some music. So, functionality-wise, this is very similar to the Prunus. I mean, they are pretty much identical. Some big differences is the knob here is a little reversed, right? It's it starts off with MP3 up at the top, and then FM, AM, and shortwave. The Prunus, that is the MP3 Bluetooth mode will be down at the bottom, then FM, then AM, and then shortwave at the top. So minor little change there. Volume knobs in the same place. They both have the same three buttons here to control tracks when you're listening to something on USB or Bluetooth. I did this maybe a week ago. I am pretty sure that if I put a USB drive in this and then shut it off in the middle of the song and turned it back on, it remembered where in the track it was, which I know is something that's not always the case.
And then gains points for
nice.
That and resells the... Yeah.
Right, don't want to go too much there and get some sort of copyright ban. Go down to shortwave, we won't find anything there. Nice backlit dial, which I really like. I just did a review of the M-Amazup, I think it's the RDX7. It's the Cathedral radio. And that radio is, for the one I have, significantly more expensive than this. Maybe something like $20 more expensive. And it doesn't have a backlit display, which aggravates the heck out of me. The tuning dial on this works the way you'd expect it to, at least here in the US, right? The low numbers are over here on the left, and they go all the way to the high end, as you scroll to the right. Of course, I'm not sure how well you can see the little red pointer there, but USB-C, which is nice. USB slot here, TF card. I tested it with USB. I don't have a TF card. The antenna on this, you know, can kind of swing out and up, and compared to the Prunus, where it just comes out of the top of the case and doesn't have the ability to swivel, this has easy, well, somewhat easy access to a replaceable battery. There we go. The Prunus does not. I don't know what would happen if I open up the Prunus. If I would find that there's just a battery like this that I got to kind of open the unit up to get to. But some of these things I thought would be real improvements, right? The ability to have the removable battery, the antenna. I guess even the carry strap. I don't know if I call it a big improvement, but I thought, nice little feature if you wanted to take this radio with you, out in the yard, or maybe throw it in a beach bag or something. Aesthetically, I don't think it's as good looking as the Prunus. It's a nice touch here, little speaker cloth. I'm not sure how well that little speaker cloth there, grill cloth. That's a nice little touch. The dial, the black is sort of striking, but I don't find it's as good looking as the Prunus's. Really, I think the Prunus sounds a little bit better. I think it looks a little bit better. I love how the Prunus's dial has that sort of soft yellow. You don't see the brightness of the bulb peeking around the edges like you do on the M-Amazup. All things considered, I think the Prunus is a much better radio. Now, maybe I didn't get a good M-Amazup, and I got a very nice Prunus, or maybe there's a quality difference. I don't really know. Is it a one-off? Is it just the Prunus is more expensive? I think it's maybe $10 more expensive. Maybe there's a little more build quality in there. Maybe I got lucky. Not sure. Or unlucky in the case of this one. One of the things I really dislike about this radio is the tuning dial is pretty off. Trying to see what I could pull in, and what I was finding is stations that I expected I couldn't find, and I realized that if I wanted something on 92, I needed to be on 94, and so far, so on and so forth. I found that really, really disappointing, particularly because I'm not saying the Prunus is digitally precise, but it's pretty close. This is off, and I find that to be, I don't know, just distracting, I guess. It's enough that I don't really enjoy using the radio. Although, to be honest with you, the way I use most of these radios is to leave them on one channel, or to, I'll listen to talk radio, so it's usually on that station, and then if I decide to use a transmitter, I flip the transmitter on it, and I just kind of swing up until I hear what programming I'm expecting to hear. So maybe I shouldn't make that big a deal out of it, and it is something like a $16 radio, but again, I found that just a little disappointing. I had picked up a few M-Amazup radios. I really love the Cathedral radio, even though I think it's got some room for improvement. I have long said, probably in a half dozen videos, that if Prunus would just make a larger version of this radio, as much as I do not need another radio, I would probably go out and buy it. If they had a shoebox sized version of this, I'd probably go grab it, because I love the look and I love the functionality of it. But the other, let me think about this. I have another M-Amazup radio that I'm actually kind of playing around with now, so I haven't played around with it enough to put it on camera and talk about it, but that one seems fairly impressive. I have a few other M-Amazup things I've been playing around with. This is the one I'm disappointed in. it's and honestly, it's, you know, one, the dial being off, which probably just annoys me more than it should, and two, I feel that the Prunus J-160 is just a bit better all the way around. Even with the features on this, that should be the improvement, right? Again, that ability to get to that battery, the antenna has that ability to really, you know, be placed and moved around. The nice detail with that grill cloth. Bring the Prunus into frame here again, just to kind of show you what I mean. It just, you know, this just extends up the top. It doesn't have the ability to be, you know, if you pull it all the way up, it doesn't give you the ability to, you know, to swivel it left or right or anything else. You know, I'm just realizing that the Prunus also has an auxiliary jack, which you know, which the M-Amazup doesn't. So I'll keep this one fairly short. It's the M-Amazup NS-8100BT. You know, it's cute. It plays decently, but if you're looking for something really inexpensive, you know, and you're mostly using it as a Bluetooth speaker or maybe to kind of leave on one radio station, you're not looking, you're more for the aesthetics than anything else. Yeah, you know, might be worth picking up for $15 or something, but honestly, I like the Prunus better, and I would probably personally spend the extra amount of money to get the Prunus over the M-Amazup. So that's it. Thanks for watching.